Hey guys, it's I've Been Dubbed. Today, I want to take you on a journey on how I made a terrible song and thought it was good and then fixed it into a decent song. My thought process for this video is that anyone can learn from their own mistakes by making a lot of songs. But if I can help you learn from my mistakes, then you won't have to worry about making the same ones in the future. So I'll play you the bad version of the song and then play the good version and we can see what's going on. So right away you can tell this is what the music industry calls a big oof. So let's listen to the remixed version. Okay, so what went wrong? How do you avoid this in the future? And how do you fix this stuff? The first thing that went wrong was listening to my track loudly while I was producing. No matter what stage you're at, arrangement, sound design, mixing, or mastering, listening to your song loudly will fatigue your ears. And the bad part about ear fatigue is not that it hurts, but when your ears are fatigued, you're not listening to the normal frequencies anymore. When you're listening to something loud for a long time, your ears will automatically EQ out the harsh frequencies, and you'll think that loud equals better, even though when you play your mix back at a normal volume or a quiet volume, it'll be really harsh and it won't sound very good. And my second mistake was producing with a master chain on, which made the first problem even worse. So not only am I mixing loud, I'm mixing with a plugin that's designed to make the song loud. So when I went back to mix and master it, I was like, this is already pretty good. It wasn't, because my ears were EQ'd to think it was good after listening to it for so long. And my third mistake is mixing this song for a long time without taking breaks. So what ended up happening is I would compare my songs to others, and I would think my song is really good just because my ears were EQ'd to thinking it was good. And last on the list of I've Been Dubbed's stupid mistakes was only listening to it on my headphones. Usually you should always reference your songs on every sound system you can. When I finally listened to it on speakers and monitors, I was like, oh, I could immediately tell what the problem was. So my main problem was ear fatigue. What are some other ways to avoid messing up what happened in my song? When you're mixing, it's a good idea to listen to your song at different volumes. You might want to write the track at like a normal volume, but when you're actually mixing and mastering it, you want to know what it sounds like at quiet, normal, and loud volumes. Like I said before, don't arrange, sound design, or mix with your master chain on, and take breaks before going from arrangement and sound design into mixing and mastering. And if you do want to mix and master for a while, make sure to use a reference track so you don't get too fatigued over just your song. Something that really helped me finish my song and find some flaws in it to fix was asking for advice on Twitch and Discord. On Twitch, there are feedback live streams where if your song gets randomly picked, the streamer will review it and tell you how to fix it. And on Discord, I sent in my song to a feedback section and I messaged someone and they helped me out with my song. Alright guys, here's the good part. Here's what I did wrong with the first track and how I fixed it. So if we compare the two tracks using a spectrum analyzer, we can see that the first version has nothing between 100 and 450 Hz. In EDM, you want your song to be like a wall of sound, and in order to do that, you need the frequency spectrum to be filled out. If we have missing frequencies, then there's pretty much no way to make the song balanced or sound full. So what's missing in my song between 200 and 400 Hz? Well, typically in dubstep, it's the wubs. or the low mids of the wubs. But if we listen to this song, there's nothing there. There's just noise. There's no wubs to EQ or whatever. So the question is, how do we fix something that's not even there? Of course, the answer to that is to add stuff. So I tried layering, but that sounded messy. I tried duplicating the wubs, pitching it down 12 semitones, and then low passing the stuff that I wanted to add, but that sounded really weird. And eventually, the thing that worked was distortion. And so I distorted the sub and the wubs and the master, but just the frequencies that I wanted to add. So on the sub, I added harmonics up to 150. On the wub channel, I added distortion just so it went below 500. And on the master bus, I used a tube amp and distorted everything 450 and below and set the dry wet to about 7%. This is a prime example of why people say don't fix your song in the mastering stage, fix it in the sound design and mixing stage, because while this fix kind of works, it still sounds like it's missing something, and it would have been way better if I had just identified the problem while I was making the sound. Speaking of fixing sounds by mixing, one thing that I learned from referencing and from someone on Discord is that wubs need mono energy. You can't just make your wubs really wide. That was one of the problems in the first track. And someone on Discord showed me that if you cut 1K in the side information for the wubs, it made it more centered. And that really helped make the mix a lot more clean and gave the track more energy. Another thing I learned is to always trust your ears over LUFS. And if you don't know what LUFS is, it's a measurement of loudness. So I compared the first song and the second song, and they're at about the same LUFS, but the first one sounds way worse, and it even sounds quieter and more narrow. One thing that can trick your brain into thinking your track is loud is by having really loud, annoying frequencies, and so when you read the LUFS meter, it'll say your track is loud, but what's loud is the harsh frequencies, not the frequencies that you want to be loud. So when I EQ'd out those frequencies in the second version of the song, it sounded a lot better and more clean. And to find these annoying frequencies, you do what's called a frequency sweep, which is where you take an EQ with a high resonance and you sweep across the frequencies until you find something that's annoying and really loud, and then you turn it down. So that's pretty much all of the big things I learned from comparing these two songs. A few little things that helped me out were taking away everything below 200 Hz on background elements. I also added a Fruity Reverb 2 on the wub track just to add a small amount of reverb, and it gave it more space. On my background elements, I used Shaperbox to do multi-band sidechaining, so the lows and mids were sidechained really heavily, but the highs were let through, so by doing it this way, the highs still let the groove go through, while the lows and mids made sure to cut out stuff that could have been muddy. The last thing that really helped out my mix was EQing my hi-hat channel. I cut a little bit of 12K from it and boosted around 4K, because in the first song, it's really overcompressed and loud around 10 to 12K, and this is because when the hi-hats were boosted through the limiter and the master bus and everything that makes the song loud, it kind of overshadows everything else. So when I EQ'd out those annoying frequencies in the hi-hat channel, all the other frequencies now had more room to be loud, which cleaned up my mix. I think that covers everything. So If you found this useful, give it a like. If you want more content like this, make sure to subscribe. And I'll be releasing the full song soon, because while it does have some mixing mistakes in it, I think the whole concept and just the song itself is good enough to be released on its own. So stay tuned for that, and I'll catch you guys next time.